Hi, I'm thrilled to be your host today, especially because what's unfolding in Dalton, Illinois feels like something straight out of a political drama. Buckle up. This story has it all: hope, power, betrayal, and a major plot twist. It all began in May 2021 when Dalton made history. The small, predominantly black village elected Tiffany Henyard as its mayor, the first young black woman to ever hold the position. She entered office like a force of change, promising empowerment, reform, and new leadership for a community that desperately needed it. People believed in her. They showed up, voted, and had hope. But fast forward a few years, and that bright vision has dimmed. Instead of fulfilling those promises, Henyard began making headlines for all the wrong reasons. Allegations surfaced that she was using taxpayer money for personal shopping sprees. Reports claimed she spent village funds on luxury hair weaves, candles, sandals, and even pot handles. While Dalton residents were dealing with serious issues, their mayor was allegedly treating public money like a personal piggy bank. And it didn't stop there. Henyard developed a combative reputation with anyone who dared to question her. Videos emerged showing her lashing out during town meetings, accusing her critics, many of whom were black, of betrayal for holding her accountable. In one meeting, she shouted, "Y'all should be ashamed. Y'all black and sitting here attacking a black woman that's empowered." But public deflection couldn't stop the growing scrutiny. Investigations mounted, residents grew increasingly frustrated. The outcry became too loud to ignore. Then came the twist. Dalton officially swore in a new leader, Jason House. After months of scandal and behind-the-scenes political tension, House stepped forward and replaced Henyard as mayor. It wasn't a quiet transition. City Hall was packed for the swearing-in ceremony. The crowd was so large it spilled outside. The energy was electric. When House placed his hand on the Bible and took the oath, the room erupted with applause. He pledged to serve the community with integrity. And in that moment, the people of Dalton felt something they hadn't felt in a long time: hope. "We watched our tiny village become a world movement," one resident said. And they weren't wrong. Dalton's story hit national headlines, exposing not just financial mismanagement, but also the urgent need for real, honest leadership. Now, under Jason House, the mission is clear: restore transparency, clean up the mess, and rebuild trust. The support from the community has been overwhelming, a clear sign they're ready to move forward. Meanwhile, Henyard has taken a detour to Facebook. Instead of addressing the damage or taking responsibility, she's been posting selfies and vague inspirational quotes, as if none of it ever happened. The same woman who once walked through Dalton with a salary higher than the governor of Illinois is now making nothing. The luxury is gone. The power is gone. And if reports are true, she didn't save anything for this moment. Because here's the truth. When you come into power for the wrong reasons, it never lasts. And when it's gone, if you haven't led with integrity, there's nothing to fall back on. No respect, no legacy, no support. This story isn't just about Tiffany Henyard, it's about what happens when public trust is broken, and how communities can rise when they demand better. Dalton is awake now, and they're not playing anymore. While Henyard was living large and making headlines for the wrong reasons, real leaders in Dalton were doing quiet, necessary work. Chief among them were brothers Edward, Steve, and Jason House. These weren't politicians seeking fame. They were men rooted in their community, serving not for applause, but out of sincere commitment. Here's the part that might surprise you. Jason House didn't even want the job at first. He was offered the chance to run for mayor 4 years, ago, but turned it down. Why? Because he believed in serving from the background. He helped without seeking the spotlight. He contributed without chasing cameras. While others pursued power, House was building trust. He observed, he listened, and he worked steadily. But eventually, the situation in Dalton became too much to ignore. The scandals, the financial breakdown, the eroding trust. That's when House said, "Enough is enough." And when he stepped forward, the people followed. For that, Dalton owes Jason House more than applause. They owe him gratitude, because real leadership doesn't always arrive in designer suits or with flashy social media. Sometimes it walks in quietly, rolls up its sleeves, and gets to work. Of course, there are still some trying to twist the narrative. You hear it often: they just didn't want to give a black woman a chance. It's a common deflection, but it misses the point entirely. Yes, identity matters. Being a Black woman or a single mother can open doors. That representation is important and powerful. But it's not what keeps you in the room. What keeps you there is integrity, discipline, a true commitment to the people who believed in you. You still have to do the work. In places like Dalton, Atlanta, Jackson, or Montgomery, cities rich with Black history and potential, being Black can work in your favor. These communities were built by generations who fought to open those doors. The opportunity is there. But once inside, it's about what you do with that power. That's what matters. I'm from Sacramento, California, and unless you're in cities like LA or Oakland, opportunities for upward mobility can be hard to come by. That's why so many of us dream about moving to places like Detroit, St. Louis, or Atlanta, places where Black leadership has historically made big moves. But that dream only works if the people we elect understand the responsibility that comes with power. Too often, we see people get into office and lose focus. They forget their purpose. They chase clout instead of community, and the people who trusted them suffer the consequences. We have to do better. We must see leadership not as a hustle, but as a mission. We must respect the positions we're given and honor the people who believe in us. Otherwise, we're doomed to repeat the same painful cycles. Because at the end of the day, this isn't just about Tiffany Henyard, this is about leadership, real leadership, and what any of us choose to do when we're given a chance. When people trust you enough to vote for you, that's sacred. It's not a license to flex or bully or indulge your ego. It's a call to lift the whole community. That's real leadership. Anything less is betrayal. Let Dalton's story be a lesson, not just for this town, but for every city, every neighborhood, every block that dares to hope. Watch what leaders do with your trust. If they abuse it, they'll end up like Henyard, out of office, out of power, and out of excuses. No title, no trust, just old Facebook posts and faded memories. The truth is, doing right by your people can bless you beyond imagination. It can elevate you, retire you, and leave behind a legacy that will live on. But that only happens if you stay grounded, if you remain humble, if you remember that leadership is service, not status. The moment you think you're better than the people who helped you rise is when the fall begins. That's when the spotlight turns toxic. That's when the foundation cracks. And when it collapses, the fall is swift and brutal. The corner office is gone. The respect vanishes. The money disappears. And all that's left is regret. Speaking of collapse, let's talk about Kamal Woods. Yes, that Kamal. The married man Henyard allegedly pulled from his wife when everything looked glamorous. The gifts, the trips, the attention, back when public money flowed and everything seemed perfect. But now, with the paychecks gone and the money dried up, the dynamic has changed. Do you really think Kamal is staying for love and struggle meals? Not a chance. That man is gone faster than a disappearing TikTok trend. Because he wasn't there for love. He was there for the perks. Now that the perks are gone, so is he. And Tiffany Henyard isn't just out of power. She's out of allies, out of love, and out of time. It's a harsh fall, but one she created. That's what happens when you treat leadership like a hustle instead of a mission.